Katana Zero was published in 2019, a game which was made by one person, Justin Stander. Did you hear what I just said? An entire game by one man. How is that even possible? In that case, it's probably a meaningless action game. I'm sure it won't talk about philosophical and dark themes like vicious cycle, or war crime, or unethical human experimentations. It won't, right? Hello everyone, this is Old Soul, and in this channel, I only talk about the games I love, and I like to talk about more than what meets the eye. I'm not an expert on analyzing a game, but I know art well enough to look at games from an artistic perspective. As I said, we're gonna talk about Katana Zero. It's almost spoiler free, so you can relax and watch. If you enjoyed my content,
you shall subscribe.
Also don't forget to like and comment. Anyway, let's get to it. I know I said it's spoiler free, but in this chapter, there might be some minor things you don't wanna know. So, if you don't want even the slightest information, go to the next chapter. The game is set in the dystopian city of New Mecca, which reminds us of the city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. Actually, it got a lot of inspiration from Middle Eastern culture. For instance, instead of cross medals, they have crescents. New Mecca is divided into 3 districts, and we live in the worst, the third one, which is a nest for vets and junkies. Can you guess how many of the characters fit into both of these categories? All of them. Well, almost. There was an old war with some people named Cromac, which ended 7 years ago. Our character, whom we don't know his name at first, served in that war and is somewhat a samurai. So let's call him that, because it's a spoiler. In the old war, they used a drug named Chronos that gave them the power to control time, or their perception of time, in order to defeat their enemies. So you mean it's Edge of Tomorrow except with samurais? Got it. The game has 2 aspects. The fast sword bullet fights in which you kill a dozen enemies in 10 seconds, and the calming therapy sessions and going to your apartment, which is dialogue based. At the end of each session, the therapist gives you a dose of some mysterious drug and the profile of the man you should assassinate. So basically you're a junkie who kills people for his drug dealer. There are lots of games that try to fit the concept of dying and reviving into the game, like the reason you can die and come back to life for the billionth time. I think Katana Zero is one of the few that was successful in doing so. But enough talking about the story, like I told half of the plot, but let's pretend I didn't. Now I'll shut up so you can enjoy this 10-second flight. Please turn the volume up and close your soul to the rest of the world, and me. I played lots of platformer games, I mean lots and lots. Maybe some of them are better in terms of level design and boss fights and aesthetics, but this game is so satisfying and fun to play. The whole gameplay is based on 2 things, the one-hit kill style and the power to slow down time. It's very fast paced and you won't get how fast it is until you finish it and go to some other game. That's when you realize how fast you react to everything and you should tone down your speed. The fights are like, you don't know what the hell are you doing and then it appears you won. But that's okay, because no one can tell if you were actually fighting or randomly pressing buttons. The only difference is that in one of them you win, in the other this happens. Sometimes it goes beyond one hit and you have to kill 4 or 5 enemies in one swing of your sword. Each area will take about 15 seconds to more than 2 minutes to beat. I mean, if you don't count the hundreds of times you'll die. The game is very addictive. After dying for 3 hours straight, you feel like you're stuck in a toxic relationship. You know it's bad for your sanity to keep going, but then you remember all the good times you had and wish for another run. Kinda like how the samurai is addicted to Chronos. There are 3 ways to kill an enemy. You can use your katana, throw objects, and even bounce off your enemy's bullets to them. Remember this guy? Well, here, you'll learn this motto better than anywhere else. Sometimes you're wandering around and killing enemies and the weakest of them kills you. Sometimes you swing your sword too soon, too late, or you kill everyone and then...
A few moments later.
Forget there are freaking lasers everywhere. What I love the most is that after you clear an area, there's a replay view, or as I like to call it, the badass mode. It shows your fight without the slow motions you used, and you can see how badass you look that way. The game is very easy because most of the rooms are pretty empty. Sorry, wrong area. Just kidding. It's absolutely difficult, and getting surrounded by dozens of enemies can sometimes overwhelm you. But to top that, when you finish it for the first time, freaking hard mode unlocks, and what an absolute nightmare that is. One word, unplayable. I mean, look at this. How can I get away from this hellish situation? It's impossible. Oh, I actually survived. Yeah, you're right. In this game, you won't win, you'll survive the storm. Anyway, the harder it gets, the more you can enjoy it. At some point, you won't use slow motion anymore, and it feels like this. Now let's watch the difficulty at its peak. Well, actually we're gonna watch how awesome I am, so... At this moment, I needed someone to tell them, did you see that? I used the sniper to kill that guy, but no one was there, so... Oh, this was a test? I'm sorry, then what's the real thing? Okay, sounds fair. Katana Zero has a unique neon art design. I don't think any other style would look good on it. Justin Standard was successful in transferring the feelings of characters with a pixel art design. You can see how badass or hateful or innocent a character looks. The game has no voice actors, and rightfully so. Otherwise the feeling would be destroyed, except for some weird moanings. The combination of these two colors, which is called neon effect, is the baseline for making a futuristic yet superficial world. If you like this one, also check out Black Future 88. It's not that rich story-wise, but the gameplay is almost as satisfying as Katana Zero, with the fast-paced fights and room-to-room battles. The looks of the games are somewhat similar. It's a roguelike, and it's more intense because you only have 19 minutes to reach the top of a tower and kill the one who created it before your heart explodes. And as for a movie, if you thought I was gonna say Edge of Tomorrow again, you're wrong. Actually, it gave Taxi Driver vibes to me. So check that out too if you haven't already.
You talking to me?
Katana Zero has 3 unique mechanics that I find most appealing. Obviously, the first one is slowing down time. I know it's not original, Prince of Persia also used this feature, but in there, it wouldn't help you fight the battles because the prince isn't that fast. You can only use it to get past the obstacles. But here the samurai can kill 3 or 4 enemies in less than a second, and the one-hit kill style helps that purpose. The second one is the ability to bounce off bullets. Basically, you're giving the enemy the taste of their own poison, or in this case, their bullets. And the last one is the chance to interrupt people in their dialogues. Excuse me? What's unique about that? I always do that. Who has time to read dialogues?
Weapons and protect, but when they're durability, use a powder, but should chance, I'll hammer 'em back.
Well, in this game, it's a little different. You can interrupt any phone call or conversation, but it won't go unpunished. The other person gets irritated, sometimes gets pissed, and that changes your narrative with that person. Oh look, it's Meme O'Clock. It has huge spoilers, so you might want to skip it.
How is it that you know my name?
Music is the first thing you'll love about this game. Why? Because of this. At the beginning of each stage, he puts on his headphones and the soundtrack starts. So our character is actually listening to the music with us. And when something important happens, he pauses the track and plugs it up. I think it's perfect. It completes the vibe and has another effect which I'll talk about in the next chapter. Also, I really wanna know which brand that he used, that even fighting and jumping around won't damage its cable. Mine are all broken. The feeling of rush and calm is balanced beautifully in here. The game starts with a fast beat. Wild soundtrack plays. You fight your way through the bullets, assassinate or rescue the target, and then absolute calm. You return to your room, a mellow song plays, you'll sleep, and go to the therapist. At this part, you can't run fast, even if you want to. It's the state of calm and you shouldn't violate it. Then your new mission starts and the adrenaline embraces you. Everything is fast again. You, the enemies, the music, and then calm again. And then it's fast, and calm again. The cycle repeats and each time, you see the calmness leaving you. It's like you're slowly being cursed to submit to the action and you can't fit the calm in your life. In the end, there is no calm anymore. I think Standard wanted to show what it's like to be a soldier in a war. Every now and then they should go and kill actual human beings and then come back and live a normal life, like nothing has happened. The Chromag War is very similar to the Vietnam War. I love how the game portrays what amazing powers the characters gain by using a specific drug, but in the end, they're just a bunch of junkies who fight over the last dose. Fighting strategy is based on reaction here. Like, you don't know if the others will notice the sound of killing people, so you go for it and die. After 10 times, you know exactly how each one of them reacts. I love how sometimes the game mocks us. For instance, putting a gun in the room. Yay, I can use a gun now. Oh, that was it? So I can use a flamethrower, but I can't shoot a gun. But let's talk about platformer games in general for a second. Why do they feel so enjoyable? Well, there are many reasons for that, but I think the main one is that you have 100% control over your character. In 3D RPG games, there's lots of free space and obviously, you can't cover all that. You can't move the way you want or think in 3 dimensions when your interface is based on 2D movements. 2D platformer games don't have this problem and this lets the game developers create new movesets and give you a unique style of roaming around. That's why even walking and jumping feels better in Metroidvania. Finally, let's talk about the cons. We have some fine antagonists here, like Headhunter and this mysterious lady, but this guy, was definitely a miss. He was such a bad guy cliché with his temper and corny lines and strange looks, which here is the blue hair. Oh, I almost forgot. And cocaine, of course. And being Russian. And having a limo. And weird laughs. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe and don't forget to comment on what you thought about it or if there are any other games you want me to analyze. And remember,
Don't you dare go, Otto.